Mr. Deepak Singh to you. Deepak ji has more than 27 plus years of experience as trainer, consultant, speaker, and president and CEO of Forisco Solutions. He holds multiple certifications on ISO standards and practices. He is also the chair of Business Continuity Institute UK Bangalore chapter. And today he will enlighten us about the business resiliency strategy by corporate for work from home. Over to you, Deepak ji.
I think you're on mute.
I think. Deepak, can you hear me?
We are not able to hear you, Deepak ji.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, now
Yes,
better.
yes.
Loud and clear. Fine. Sorry for that. So thank you so much, Pushkar, and thank you so much, Manish, Harvinder, and Ravi, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, ASIS International. I've been hearing Peter, and I think good outlook and good plan that he has, trying to ensure that a lot of things that we depend on today, especially during this COVID situation, the security aspects have become very important, whether it is cyber security or information security. So good to see that there are a lot of initiatives that ASIS International is taking. Good. So thank you again for giving this opportunity. Now, this session we are going to talk about mainly work from home, but trying to see how it helps the business resilience. Right now, resilience is something that we have been hearing a lot during this last, I would say, 1.5 2 years. But this has been in the there earlier as well. But in last 2 years, I think there's a lot of buzz about it. And then there was also something called business continuity, which Dr. Vora was also talking about, Dr. Bikram. Uh, so what is the difference between resilience and business continuity? Right. So I would say that business continuity is little reactive. That means when there is a business disruption, you try to recover the priorities, try to recover the prioritized activities. But then when you talk about resilience, resilience is the capability of organization where you try to say that how can the organization anticipate, try to prepare for it, how you can sort of respond to the such an incident. I mean, whatever be the incident, it's a disaster or any sort of things like this pandemic which we are going through, and then how do you adapt, right? So when you talk about resilience, it is much more proactive, right? And what happens is, for example, if you take example, let us take an example of a tree, right? If you have cyclone or heavy wind, the tree might sort of move here and there, and maybe some of it leaves or maybe tiny branches might fall down, but then the tree will still stand straight if it is strong enough. That is resilience, right? So if I talk about this tree, when we talk about the strength of the tree, there are basically two things. One is when we talk about the tree's roots, that's the foundation, of course, very important. And for foundation, if I talk about organization, if I correlate with organization, I would say foundation for an organization could be like its vision, mission, values, objectives, right? The policies that the company has, all those things become the root. That needs to be strong. But then also apart from that, what needs to be strong is the trunk and the branches of the tree. That means the operations of the organization also need to be very strong, right? So that is when you will try to make an organization really resilient. So resilient is whatever be the disaster, it does not lead to stoppage of your business operation. There might be slight hiccups here and there, but it does not stop your business operations. That is what is resilience, which is much more proactive, which is next level of business continuity. Business continuity, there is a disruption and you try to recover. Not resilience. Resilience, you are saying that there might be minor hiccups, but then it doesn't stop your critical operations. So let's talk about this because this is a work from home specific session. Can you move to the next slide? And I think there is a poll which is coming for all of you. So if you can, next slide, please. Yes. So the poll is, because we are talking about work from home, you have been experiencing work from home for last almost like 2 years. Are you eagerly looking forward to working from office, going to office? Yes. Can you please respond to that? I want to check how many people are eager to go and work from office. Yes, can we see the results? Pushkar, we can't see the results on the screen.
Slide.
Yeah,
Is it visible?
Yeah, got it.
yeah. Yes. So, like you see, out of all the people who have answered, right, 42% respondents say yes, they want to go to office. And that is what is the real challenge, because people are eagerly waiting to go back to office, but then there is something or other thing that is stopping, right? And there's a lot of challenge, because even at home, right, the privacy that your family members had when you were working in office, and now you are sitting whole day in at home and then trying to work from there, I think there's a discomfort that they have, right? So there are a lot of challenges there. Now let's look forward, because this is an important topic about work from home. Next slide, please. Yes. So what happened? All these points that you see on the screen, I think you would have heard most of them already, right? Before March 2020, when we talk about work from home, right, you will hear, why is it required? My work cannot be done from home. Our industry is not that type, right? What about the risk that you have for the security of the network and all? And you all would have faced this. But then the problem is, you were thrown into a situation where you didn't have any option. So what happened after March 2020? How did it change? All these questions that were asked, or sort of things that were there, or the comments that were given to you, suddenly changed. Next slide, please. And then you started hearing, saying that anything can be done from home. Previous slide, please. Anything can be done from home. Now, at this point of time, remember, earlier there was a lot of security concerns when you work from home, but then suddenly everything disappeared. People knew that you already have issues. If you work from home, you have issues, no doubt about it. You are not fully prepared, but still no one talked about it, because at that point of time business took a priority, right? Business took a priority because the health of all you guys were important. So because you couldn't come to office, hence it was decided that you be at home, safe, healthy, and we'll ensure that the work comes to you at your home, right? So all these things were no longer there. Even schools, which people never thought that it could be a remote schooling, but now you see so many classes, you see that they are handled online only. People, or even small children, they are doing taking online classes from home. All these things changed, right? Next slide, please. Now at this point of time, because we are talking about work from home, if I ask you, if the situation normalizes, how many days a week per week, how many days per week would you like to prefer, or would you like to prefer to work from office? Is it that you want to continuously work from home, 1 to 3 days in office, 3 to 5 days in office? Can you please answer this poll, please? Yes, everyone. Can we see the results?
It'll take 15 seconds for the result.
Okay. Sure. Sure. So how it is coming up is, yes, there are people who want to work from office, no doubt about it. But then if you give them option, whether it's okay that you work from office continuously or you have a hybrid model, and you can see the results. I think, yeah, now you can see on the screen, you can see that 37% of people, they are saying that they would like to work 1 to 3 days from office, compared to 24% which are 3 to 5 days, right? So that means people know that, I mean, possibly just working from office is not going to be possible. So hence there has to be a hybrid model. And that is what the world is moving towards. That is what the work from home strategy is driving you towards. Next slide, please. Now, if you see what happened after March 2020, right? What happened with corporates? What did corporate do to ensure that, you can work from home? You got blanket approvals for work from home. Companies started investing on platforms and technologies which can enable you to work from home. They were also investing on purchasing the subscription and the licenses. So any software, any package, any application that could help your productivity, that could help you to be more productive and be more engaged, that's where the companies started investing. Computers, chairs, and tables. So if you remember, initially after 3 weeks of lockdown, right, when still companies saw that, okay, possibly it's not going to be normal like before, that's when they started deciding that, okay, let's start moving the computer desk and all to employees home, because a lot of people used to work not on the laptop but also on the PCs, the actual computer systems, and those were also moved to their homes. So that was something that was done by the corporate. And then later, some a couple of months later, they also started, because they came to know that yes, it's not very comfortable working from home, of course, because in office you have a lot of other facilities which are not there at home. So at that point of time, they started pushing towards the reimbursement. So you have this much of budget, go ahead, purchase as per your comfort and for your economics, but then go ahead and then get it reimbursed from us. That is what they started doing. But then why do I say that the corporates reacted? One click, please. That is because I think they were not prepared. They were just pushed into that situation. They were not prepared for it. It was not a, should I say, well thought plan saying that this is what we'll do. The situation came and they had to just react to that. Think about that. Many companies still didn't have work from home policy at that point of time. Large companies, very large companies, I'm talking about multinationals in USA and all. In fact, the work from home policy was retracted. It was taken back. It was revoked almost about 1.5 years to 2.5 years before. And employees who were working from home, they were asked to come back or leave the job. That happened. But then again, this situation came and then you were just going back, right? So a lot of work from companies did not have work from home policy. Think about this power availability. Was there enough power? Do they have diesel generator, UPS at home, people who are going to work from home? Not sure. What about the network? What is the bandwidth? What is the speed? Right? What about the information security and cyber security? All these excuses that our IT team used to give earlier. No, be careful. It's not safe. You cannot connect to this network, that network, and all. Right? All these things, because the business demand at that point of time said that this is what is your priority, and hence all these things that you see, other things, we'll look at it later. But start the business operations from home as soon as possible. That is what is, I'm talking about reaction. The last one, work life balance. People thought that it's very comfortable, I sit at home and then work. But then 9 by 5 started working 24 by 7. That was not appreciated. I'm not sure if you remember, USA, after a couple of months in work from home, a survey found out that almost 70% of employees, they had mental stress. 70% of people who are working from home. That's a huge number. And that's what I think Dr. Vikram was also talking about. It's true, right? If the organizations had planned earlier, then this would not be a reaction, it would be a response. That is the difference between reaction and response. Response, if you have planned well and then you are trying to act on something, that is a response. React, you are caught unaware, and that's what your natural response reaction comes in, right? So that is what I wanted to talk about in this slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is one survey done by McKinsey and Company. One more click. And what it talked about, if you see on the right side, there is a list of sectors in US, because they sort of did survey on multiple countries across multiple sectors. So you can see this talks about the potential share of time spent, the percentage, right, remotely. So if you see, of course, finance, insurance, and then management, professional and all takes the highest. But then things like agriculture is the lowest, because yes, when you talk about agriculture, there's nothing much you can do remotely. You have to be there on the ground, right? And then second last was accommodation and food services. So there was a survey done to understand that how the industries and the sectors and the countries are responding to this work from home or remote working. One click, please. And then you can see on the left side, you have based on different countries, because here, if you see on the right side, the total for USA is 29 to 39. And on the left side, based on countries, you see India is only 12 to 16. So we can say that, yes, there is enough penetration of network and, all those computer related jobs in India. But still, one click, please. But still, major of our population is on retail services and agriculture, which cannot be done remotely. So all this data is based on the analysis that was done by McKinsey and Company, right? Next slide, please. Now, all these things that you see in the pillars, these are actual strategies used by the corporates. We are not naming the companies, but these are the actual strategies, right? And this is what they have decided so far, because if you remember when the COVID started, I think I would say it was a premature declaration, or maybe, immediate, not much thought about decision. If you remember, there was a news that came that TCS says that only 25% of the people would be working from office going forward, right? And then later point of time, I think sometime towards last year, towards year end, people started calling their employees back to office. It happened, right? Because there are ifs and buts, pros and cons in work from home and work from office, and that is what the reason is, right? So companies said that 50% of the time you can work from office, 50% of time you can work from home. 2 days a week you can come to office, that was another strategy. 100% work from home, that means you have a hybrid model, but wherever you see that there is a particular role which can actually work from home, completely full time, they can work from home. Otherwise, that particular company has a hybrid model. Work from home permanently, no need to come to office lifelong, that was another strategy. 100% flexible trust based model. Now this is something that came up during this COVID. Trust based model, right? So companies said that let's not do too much micromanagement into what our employees are doing. Every sort of half an hour call them and then ask what you're doing, have you done this, have you done that. That's not going to work, right? Because that will in fact bring the mental stress of the employees or your people or your workers to the next level. Don't do that, right? Try to have that trust, and we'll talk about a little bit about that in further slides also. So this was something that came up into picture. Work from home for 2 or 3 days per week permanently, right? Lifelong. Companies said that 2 to 3 days per week you can work from home. And then there are some companies who are using combination of all these. So these are some long-term strategies which are actually adopted by corporates, large corporates. Next slide, please. Now, I'm sure that you all know World Economic Forum, and what they did is they talked to 6 corporate leaders, and based on what they heard from the corporate leaders, they had put some 9 pointers there. So the leaders felt that the staff have become more productive and engaged by being remote. By working from home, they have become more productive and engaged. Communicating and collaborating has become much more efficient because now you have multiple technologies, different platforms, and different ways of connecting, right? So that has become much more productive. Hierarchies have flattened. So if you have to take a decision, if you have to discuss or something, call everyone in one shot for a particular to a particular meeting. There's no need to go to level by level. Call everyone in the meeting, discuss with them, and then try to see what is the decision that you need to go ahead with. Connecting virtually across the world in seconds. Yes, office space is evolving into collaboration and innovation hub. So you cannot always work from home. There are some point of time where you might need to come to office, but then for what is that the additional office space will give you? And that's what they said, that then now it is more like transforming into a collaboration hub and a innovation hub. The real estate that you had where everyone used to work earlier, that's now transforming into these. Need to cater for different group needs. So leaders said that yes, I mean a general policy sometimes is not applicable for everyone, because sometimes people will say that yes, I need to go out to drop my kid to the school, or I need to take a break because I have a old parent at home and I need to take care of them as well, right? So there is something that you need to give as a flexibility to all these people while they are working from home. As I said, trust based working, right? TBW, this is something that has emerged and it is really helpful, and this is something that people started seeing, that when you give or have more trust on the people, you see that there is a different style of leader that is getting embedded in that particular person, because he knows that okay, I'm responsible for my activity, I'm the one who is responsible for what I'm delivering, and hence I need to be much more responsible, accountable, and careful about. New models of working. Yes, communication will be the key, because every now and then, if you have to just proactively talk about, somewhere I need to go and update that, yes, this is done, that is done, and all should be done. Okay. Now, whatever is being done, if you have work from home being done parallelly to take care of your business work, then the office space you need to actually redesign and make it into a different. So there is another layer of planning that is required for your office spaces, which is point number 2, enablement of the best and safest use. Because it's not only about the best, right? Best means good air condition, but during COVID, air condition was not appreciated, right? So what do you do then? So it needs a transformation. One click, please. Now, everyone though agreed that work from home because of COVID is going to bring out limitless possibilities, which we haven't thought about. You can think about a lot of situations that you would have seen in this last 2 years, which earlier people used to say, not possible, not possible. Are you kidding? Are you joking? But today, all of those are possible, right? So that is why they said that, yes, it brings limitless possibilities. Next slide, please. Poll number 3. Do you believe work from home has more risk for corporates than benefits? This would be interesting to see your perspective. Do you believe work from home has more risk for corporates than benefits? Yeah, so please respond to that. See, we also have heard when corporates started saying that okay, I'm sort of giving away 50% of my real estate back. I'm no longer renting it, or I'm selling my office and all. People used to think that okay, my company is making money because now they are saving. Earlier, they used to invest, let's say, 10 crores per year on the building. Now they are saving. So should it come back in my salary? Should I get more salary? Should my pay be increased? All those things were there. But then you are asked now, do you think that more than benefits, the risk are there for the corporates? Can you share the result, please? Yes. So 37% said yes. Very good. That is what I was expecting. Yes, work from home is not that easy. Okay. As I said, we are doing that just because we were thrown into that situation. Let's look on the next slide. Next slide, please. So if you see, if Companies or corporates need to still think about the work from home as a strategy. There are multiple challenges, no doubt about it. So each of these challenges, the corporates need to think from what would be the strategy, how you would handle that, how you would address these things. Like if unfortunately something happens to the employee while working from home, working, that means you're doing business work, company's work, and then you got an injury or fatality, fatal accident. What happens? Will the insurance cover? Will you go to a legal what do you say, lawsuit and all? Okay, this is one thing that needs to be addressed. Cybersecurity threats, information security risk and all these are huge, right? These are there. But then that's why I say now that earlier all your employees, the general employees, right, you used to give awareness training, awareness sessions to them. Now it's no longer awareness. I think you should give now training to them, training on information security, training on cyber security, because more control is in their hand, not in your hand, because they are no longer in your network. They are no longer sitting in your campus where you are segregated by firewalls and all. No, right? So rather than awareness, go into training mode for these employees. So that would be a strategy. Who will pay the bills for the internet and all? Work from home, office supplies, what to do with the existing real estate? Another strategy. Like we said, World Economic Forum leaders say that, okay, we need to look it as a hub where you can talk about innovation, you can talk about collaboration, right? Moonlighting, freelancing, this is another challenge because companies sometimes feel that I'm not sure whether this person is doing two jobs at a time. Is he taking up some freelancing job? Okay. And that's why some of these companies have started feeling that pinch in the productivity. And that's when you started seeing that towards end of the last year, companies started calling the employees back to offices. Many companies have started doing. But then Omicron hit and then everything stopped again, right? So companies got back to that situation as they were earlier. Keep employees engaged and motivated, very big challenge. How do you ensure that? Retention, I'm sure that you all have heard about the great resignation, right? It's happening. I was reading, I think 2 or 3 days back, Infosys is talking about 25% of attrition. Wipro is talking
Deepak,
about 20. Yes, please.
sorry to interrupt. We have 2 minutes left in your session, just
Okay,
for a
sure,
reminder.
sure. I'll try to complete faster, right? So what is that? That is the great resignation, right? People are sort of changing job, they are leaving the job and all. Monitoring and measuring the productivity of the job performance and mental and physical health issue. That is what Dr. Vikram was also talking about. Very important, but then no proper strategy as of now with the corporates, how to handle that. Next click. Hello, right? And there are other challenges that you have, right? How do you ensure that people working remotely versus working from office, do they get the same pay, different pay? People working in Bangalore versus tier 3, tier 4 cities, will they get the same pay or different pay? All these things are going to be a challenge, no doubt about that. Next slide, please, because I think I'm short of time, so I'll try to speed it up. So like I said, workplaces need transformational changes, right? And there are different things that the workplace needs to redesign by itself, right? People need to think and then come back with new design of how they can transform this workplace to ensure that they can still use this. Otherwise it's not going to be helpful and engaging for the employees, right? The last point, if you see, new and stricter guidelines, very important. When you have these workplaces coming back into picture, there has to be a very strict guideline about what can be done, what cannot be done. Next, please. Okay, last poll question. What has been the communication from your organization before the Omicron hit? What did your organization say? Right, because we have heard some organizations said that, okay, come back to office. People said that, okay, you can continue to work from home. If required, you can come to office, or whenever there is a meeting, you can come to office. All those challenges were there. So let's look at the responses. Can you share the response? Right. So only 5% says come back to office. Very good. Work in hybrid model 23%, which is actually true, right? That is where the company said that, okay, it will be a hybrid model. These many days from office, these many days from home. And that is what the poll also says. Next slide, please. Now, there are some things that the organizations needs to take care of, right? Like I said, if you are giving or enabling people to work from home, try to ensure that there are clear roles and responsibilities defined, ensure that there are targets which are given to them, because ultimately you are not going to track how many hours you worked, right? How many hours you have logged into the system, but it's more about have you completed the target that was given to you? And that is what is organization's responsibilities to enable the work from home. That is an important thing that you need to talk from enabling the strategy. Next slide, please. Right. So everything is not on organization, right? There is something that has to be on the employees also. So like, for example, taking care of the employees should ensure that there's a proper workplace. People should not be disturbing them. I mean, family members should not be disturbing them. And also they have to ensure that there are regular updates given to the managers voluntarily, not that they should ask, right? Now, before I end, I just thought that I'll put this video. I'm sure a couple of you would have seen it already, but maybe it would be interesting to see. Trying to see now that for 2 years we have been working from home, can we overcome that nostalgia? Yes, please.
And once we have that, we can close tickets faster. Sorry, one sec.
So we've been getting some complaints. Tom, is it possible you're in denial?
Huh?
Well, it feels like you haven't really come to terms with being back at the office after all this time at home.
What office? Can you hear me?
What?
Yeah. I can't hear you, man.
Are you okay? I'm right here.
Nope. Still can't hear you. You're probably on mute.
Huh?
Yeah, okay. So you need to click join audio.
I'm right
It's
here.
in the bottom left corner of your screen.
I'm right here.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No, it's the bottom left corner. Jeremy, now I can't see you either.
You're not on Zoom anymore. Those days are over. And what happened with Dan? He's still rattled from yesterday.
No, I know. I'm just so used to taking the meetings with me
Okay.
wherever I go.
So in the interest of time,
No,
we'll stop this video here. So that is the reality. Okay. So maybe after 2 years, it might be a little difficult for you to adapt to the office environment, but yes, good that you have hybrid model coming up. So there is a quick read that you have. You can see that link. I'm not sure if this PPT would be shared with you, but if you'll get, you can actually go through that link and then read it yourself. Again, thank you so much. But let me tell you one thing quickly, my last closing remarks. Work from home strategy doesn't mean business resilience. It's only one strategy for business resilience, because work from home takes care of your cases like non-availability of your premises and people. That's it, right? But business resilience is not only about work from home. So be clear, be very sensitive about this topic. Ultimately, people are the priorities, people will remain priorities, whatever be the case, right? So with that, thank you so much. Thank you, ASIS, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks to Manish, Harvinder, Ravi, and Piyush for coordinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak. Just a few questions which were asked by the participants.
Sure.
The question is by Mr. Ravi Pratap Chauhan, and same question is asked by Mr. Mohit Yadav and Sayyid Abu Arif Muhammad Hassan Akhtar. So the question is, what is the biggest risk or threat an organization are facing in work from home environment? these days? And being a security professional, what are the ways to handle those issues?
Yeah, I think, like I said in the presentation, the biggest challenge that we are talking about is related to information security and cyber security. No doubt about that. And that's why the importance of these security professionals have gone up like anything, right? A lot of people, because from home, earlier you already knew that, these are the challenges if you work from home. But then because you were forced into the situation, you didn't have any other way. Now, where should the company invest? The company should be investing on things so that you say that if you are working from home, let me give you a proper package in the sense, not payment. I'm talking about package in the sense, the hardware, the software, the application that will enable your home like you are sitting in an office with that firewall. And these are the things that you need to focus on. But yes, cyber security, information security, I mean, you could have your family members, right? Husband is in a company, wife is in a different company, maybe these companies are competitors. So what happens? You have all those files which are open there, you have your screen on. What happens? All these are related to that, but it's very sensitive matter, so companies or organization didn't want to highlight it more. That's the reason why they talked subtly about it. But now, when we know that this is how the whole situation is going to go, you need to be very careful about setting these things properly into the at residences also, so that you do not have such risk. But yes, it requires investment. How much investment can be made? Again, that's matter what the company needs to decide. So that is why we need to be careful about that, and these two will continue to be risk. We know that, yeah, the hackers and all these things will continue to be larger risk, wherever you have network which is not properly taken care of, you will have these challenges.
Thank you so much, Deepak ji. Thank you so much for your insights on business resilience in work from home environment. And now
Thank you.
we would like you to request you to please accept a token of appreciation and gratitude in the form of
Sure.
e-certificate from
Thank you
ASIS
so
Delhi
much.
Chapter.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. My pleasure.